Hi, Larry and Sandy. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take you on a walkthrough of the changes and the new design. So starting at this corner here, you can see it's a completely new design. For the driveway and walkway, I am showing a coral stone flagging that is honed and filled. And what's nice about that, it gives you the natural look and contours for the ground. It's much easier to walk on than the gravel that I had suggested before. It is more expensive, but it's a much more elegant and luxurious feel. And you'll see it's using the same materials in different locations. So you have the coral stone wall that's rough cut in its natural state, and this is going from 4 feet, which is the city code required height, up to 5 feet, which they allow for ornamentation. And you'll see here I'm showing the address etched in, laser cut into the stone. So I think that will qualify as ornamentation or just something to discuss with the city. And then also showing the same stone being brought up at the solar carport. This is the smaller solar carport, and you can see here you can fit in 2 cars. It's 18 feet wide between the columns, and I received drawings from the company to go over all of this to make sure that it's accurately shown and modeled here. And then if you have the stone jut out a little bit, you do lose a little bit of room. But just to give you some perspective, the minimum for a parking space is 8 feet wide. Standard is 9 feet wide. So you have enough room here to fit the 2 cars in. But as you'll see, it might get a little tight just on this side when you're opening or closing the car door if you're parked right next to each other. Just be aware of that. And I'll take you through. So you have an implied pedestrian walkway here. So there's no formal gate, no barrier, but you can bring your golf cart in and out. Of course, park your golf cart in the back, which I think would be nice. And around the corner here, hidden, is where you can put your garbage cans. So I'm showing a wood fence enclosure around that. But you can put your trash and recycling right in there, out of view, nice and hidden, and just wheel it right on out. So this kind of acts as a gateway. But of course, you only had 1 car here. It's a larger walkway around, but again, it's just an implied walkway. So it gives you the formality that I think Larry likes, but without the overbearing street presence of the gate and everything else that we had before. And by having this one drive, this is 24 feet wide total. So uh, that'll give you an idea. You have room for your golf cart, cars. Of course, you can park cars behind here and still easily get by. Let me take you through. So here we have the solar carport. And of course, this golf cart is, where you had mentioned back here. You don't have to worry about that. On the side, I'm showing just a little bit of a stone wall here, and then a wood fence, wood gate there. And I am also showing the stone on this side wrapping around. If you wanted to save some money, one thought would be to have the stone terminate around here, just bring it around the corner so that you still have the street presence of the stone, but then you could use wood just on this little edge here if you really wanted to, again, just to save some money. But I think it looks really nice having this front enclosure as all stone. And I'm trying to keep as much of the bamboo as possible. So I'm showing bamboo here with some river rocks below for drainage. And then you'll look up in this covering where I'm letting a little bit of sun creep in and hoping that between that and then the solar carport that it'll be enough for the bamboo to thrive. If it doesn't, of course, you can always look at other plants to put there, but this way you have a nice walkway that's covered. So you have solar carport, and then I'm calling for a covered walkway here, which is similar in nature to this same solar carport or the structure. It's a metal frame, black matte, powder coated structure, and then these come standard with insulated roofs, just basically a flat roof. And I'm showing wood being clad on top, give it more of an uplifting feel. And then I know Larry liked the iconography that I came up with before, so I'm including a pedestrian gate right here. So this becomes your formal entry, and again, a location to put packages through and mail through with your video doorbell, so that this is where anyone coming up would come. You'd see them beforehand, and it has that kind of casual vibe that I think will be good, accompanied by the privacy and formality. And the reason you'll see I'm showing this covered walkway here in the same language, I did look at several different designs, and I didn't want to overdo it, but also not underdo it. It's not overstated or understated. So I think this strikes the right balance, just making it real classy while at the same time simple. And of course, as we go through, um, I'll talk about some more, talk about the lighting. So I'll step back for perspective here, give you an idea. So this is this site wall is shifted over. It starts a foot after this wall. So you have a nice little corner. I've pushed it over as far as possible to this side of the property so that you get the maximum yard size in front. And you have your kind of walkway landing here, your entry. And sorry, you'll see that I brought out this front patio. So it extends just past this wall. So you have a nice kind of overlapping of materials. So there's a clear termination of everything. So you have the coral stone tiles here, which you'll see carry through in the back in the pool deck. And that's honed and filled. So it's nice and smooth. And then the idea here is that it's the coral stone flagging, honed and filled. So it's the same material for all three of these, just with different treatments. These are both smooth. This one's flagging, so it's kind of the natural shapes, versus these are cut for the tiles. And then this is the rough cut. And what's nice about having it smooth is you won't get mildew or water, a place where mosquitoes to breed. So it's real nice to have the honed and filled on the ground, on the horizontal surface versus the vertical. I think having that rough cut will look really nice. And if you look up here, so I have not extended this roof out. I don't think that you need it. I think that this way you maximize your green space, your yard, which I know is important. And keep in mind that the yard does um, curve down, it does slope. So this will give you usable space and a larger patio area where you can sit out and enjoy and still get natural light inside through the windows and um, enjoy the space some more, have more of an outdoor space because there's so much covered space in the back. And what I'm proposing here is one steel column in the middle with a new steel beam enclosed inside to eliminate all of those existing columns. And I'm also showing these white sconces, kind of minimal sconces, to blend in with the white stucco. You have obviously your white windows and door frames. So this way, the building, the home itself, kind of sets back with the white, and the black pops out to where it's honest about what each piece is. I'm showing that you have, I'll call it a super gutter, similar to the structure system, coming across this front and then draining down in the corner. That's existing. You do have the gutter coming across here, and from this roof edge here, it comes and carries across. And I think that having it as uh, the black, to go along with this, rather than having this here terminate, because you would definitely need something there. This gives you kind of, a language where one starts and stops and one begins. So I will go around the house. If you'll see, you wouldn't see this actually walking, but I want to point out I have relocated the condensing unit for the mini split to this corner from this side and hidden it behind landscaping so that you don't really notice it or look at it. And again, this gives you the maximum green space, maximum yard space, which I think will be really nice to have. And of course, when you're inside, you're looking out at this garden, not at your cars and driveway. You walk around this path, and again, I'm thinking that this could be the coral stone flagging, and it'll give you a nice little natural path, and you don't notice the stuff to the side, landscaping, with the air condensing unit hidden, and then behind this landscaping here is where I'm tucking in your nice size garden. So this is representing the bees and your garden space. So it's simple, not the formal massive stone that I had before. Still gives you a generous area, but I'm showing a frame, screen area for your garden. You can access from the path here and surrounded by landscaping. If you like that, so that when you're inside, you're just looking at some flowers and such as opposed to a fence or stone. And you'll notice here, of course, this curved stone wall. This is 7 feet high as shown. Now the code allows for 6 feet just in this small corner, and after you get to the corner of your house, the code is supposed to be 4 feet. So this is one area where a variance would be required in order to build this site wall. And worst case scenario, you do a low wall and then put additional landscaping, some bamboo to create privacy. But ideally, it is nice to have this nice tall wall here, which I'll explain some more as we go through. And of course, as we've talked about before, in order to put the solar carport here in this direction, this also requires a variance because it goes past the front setback for the carport. So those are two variances that would need to be required for this design. Now there's a wood gate here. It's a doorway. And now we're into your, I'll call it your wellness spa retreat off of the master bathroom. So you have the outdoor shower right here where the existing plumbing is. And then tucked away behind that wall is a sauna. And so that's why ideally this would be 7 feet tall, is because that will just cover and hide the sauna from view. Again, worst case, you could put in some landscaping, some tall bamboo or other things around here to hide it, which you might put in anyway. But I think it'd be nice to have this nice tall wall so it's kind of tucked away and hidden around the corner. And the way the sauna is treated is essentially as a piece of furniture. So it's just plugged in. Of course, this is not hurricane rated. So it's something to be aware of is that it is something you're just taking a risk essentially. But tucked in here, I don't foresee there being an issue, tucked in this way, but it's just a piece that's assembled and plugged in. So this is a sauna that can accommodate two people. It's a 1 to 2 person sauna, and the infrared technology. And then right here is the ice bath. So this is the large ice bath, and could tuck away in here. Again, have landscaping around it for privacy and serenity. And that is the little, I'll call it your wellness retreat, the stone wall. So you have this curved wall and then the other curved wall with your ice bath and your sauna. And then through another gate here, and the portal to your backyard. I'll start with the view from your bed because I think that's important. So you can see the other side of these curved walls. It kind of follows the contour of the swimming pool, and you have a nice little sitting area right outside your door. And then you'll see there's bamboo with some river rocks below and the coral stone walls. Got some nice uplighting, so it looks really nice in the evening. And the door, being angled like this makes it a little hidden from view. So when you're over here, you're really just looking at the stone and the landscaping. And then I'm taking the coral stone tiles for the pool deck and showing that it'd be straight across here. So you have the hard edge and a little planting area, landscape area with the fencing behind. So this is a change from before where I had the coral stone wall around. I do think this is an opportunity where you could save some money. I'm showing a dark wood fence around. I think that having the dark color makes it recess from view and the landscape pop a little bit more and be nice and elegant and natural. So just the wood fence around there, the vertical planks, and the stone stopping at this corner. It's kind of a separate element. And here, of course, you want to keep a tree with some river rocks, nice little landscape island. And I'll show you from the inside. This isn't a corner that I want to mention. So you have the structure pergola and the eave from your roof. So I've been exchanging emails with structure, with uh, with George and Anthony, and we'll have to see how exactly they install that for that transition. But with the rolling screens, with the insect screens, we need to think about this corner here so that this space can be fully enclosed when the screens are down. So I'm showing the roller shades coming across and then a fixed screen at this corner that's kind of hidden from view, which is why I'm showing planter there and your outdoor kitchen so that you don't see it from the other side. It's around the corner. But just something to be aware of because for this roller screen to come down and then it needs a corner to attach to. So I'm showing a fixed screen here for that. The other option, of course, is you could have a roller screen there as well, but you'd still need a metal column that will always be there at that corner for the two to meet at, which I think would be a little odd. So let me put them in here. Just showing the outdoor kitchen space and dining. So you'll see right away, of course, I've tried to model the table that you have, and these could be the gray chairs that you have. These are similar in size, but just give you an idea. And the outdoor kitchen with a place for a barbecue grill at that corner, and then the prep sink. This is showing as 4 feet wide to give you an idea of perspective with the size of it. And then you could have an under counter refrigerator here on this side. And there's enough room also if you wanted another under counter fridge for beverages on that side there. Plenty of storage space in between the big prep sink area to set things. Another little section on the side. Just think if you want to set your barbecue tools to the side while you're working. And this is representing a metal sculpture. I'm sure you can find something much better to put on the wall, but just an idea of wall art being mounted there, which I think will be really nice, different than the vegetation I showed before, which looks nice, but I agree is not very practical. And then I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. Uh, I'm showing this right now as open shelving, but of course you could put doors on it. Now to the left here, that's encasing the pipe that's there now. I believe is the gas pipe, the gas line that runs vertically. So it's making use of that. So just covering it, cladding it in wood, and then making basically shelving some storage space above that. So it looks intentional, not just like a piece covered up. And then you'll see here that this is where the electrical panels are hidden. So this covers the clearance that's needed. So you have tall vertical doors here, and then that piece right here. So this is the Shosugiban wood. I think will look real nice. And notice these white lights are showing the lighting, which is why I said I mentioned the lighting. I started to model it, but it looks a little funny when you look at it during the day. So uh, just to give you an idea, though, what's included right now for the structure, you do have the perimeter LED lights. You also have the recessed cans and the fans. And what I did this time to give you some different ideas is I kept the same furniture here, the outdoor living room that I think you like, as far as this versatile piece that can function for sitting and as a table. But I had a little fun with the finishes. You're just making it a little bit more eclectic and organic, showing different finishes. So you have the two-tone wood table here that you already have, whether those are gray chairs or something different, but intentionally not having them all match. So it looks a little more like things you've gathered over time, which is the way your home is, as opposed to something that's planned and purchased all at once. So it has the same language. This is from Catal, but with different finishes. And then I'm showing the egg swing here. I know that you like having the swings. I do too. We'll have to coordinate as far as where exactly it attaches to make sure that screens function. But I do believe there's a metal piece here. You could still tie it around and have that hanging to where you could have a swing in there. And this is the same roll down projector screen that is 120 inches. It's 120 inch, or sorry, 110-inch screen. So it gives you an idea of the size. Of course, you need something smaller, but I want you to understand the scale that this is a large space. It's a very large screen, large TV. And these are the roller shades going all around. And again, the edges, it's kind of like a little reveal corner where it slides down all across so that the entire space can be enclosed and via bugs. And that's the piece I talked about for a fixed screen on the corner, which when you're over here, you don't really see, but it's around the corner. Looking up, of course, these are actual louvers. It'll appear a little different, and the lights don't actually look that bright, which is why I stopped modeling the lights, but at least this gives you an idea of the space. And then all the green space over here, so at least you do have some green space in the back, and a nice covered patio coming across, again with the fan. And then what I'm proposing here now for the fireplace, or for the uh, fire pit, I should say, is more informal. So I appreciate the feedback, not having it so grand with the stone seating. So still showing, I'll call it a basic fire pit, just showing more of an aluminum piece as opposed to before I showed a concrete one. There's tons of options, and I do really like the tiki thing I showed you before, which you could purchase to put here if you want. But it's just showing in general a fire pit location with chairs in the grass, and then I'm showing a boulder, a rock that could be used as a table. So it gives you a more casual feel because in our climate, don't expect you to use the fire pit every day, but on occasion. And so I do think you would be fine with having this just as green space as grass, have more grass to use the space as opposed to needing rocks or something else there, because you aren't going to travel there daily, and it makes it more of, I'll say, a summer area, a summer vibe as opposed to something that's more fitting, I'll say, for colder climates, so more casual. And then you'll see that what I'm showing here, I'll call it a nice little casita. Uh, but based on the modern shed that you sent to me, as far as what you would like, the challenge, of course, is that all of the prefabricated sheds and accessory dwelling units, ADUs as they're called, that are nice looking, are not hurricane rated. So if you want something like this, which we can certainly do, it has to be custom built. But I do think it'd be real nice. I know we mentioned possibly having a mural painted on a metal shed or other things, but if you aren't going to use it just for storage, if you want to use it as additional living space, and for whatever purpose that is, as an office, an art studio, place to display things, anything. I mean, it makes it more of a little casita, a little pool home almost, an accessory, usable space, adding to your usable square footage for the house. And when I'm proposing, similar to those modern sheds, um, design-wise, I'm showing a black exterior. This is the Shosugiban burnt wood cladding. You could also do a black metal exterior with the light wood interior and a light wood roof, the clear story windows above. I do think the contrast would fit really well and look great. And you'll see here, I am showing the gravel coming here, carrying around, just because it's an inexpensive, relatively speaking, easy way to do that. And then a coral stone paver, so using the same material to create a nice little entry to that space. So that way we aren't trying to hide it or camouflage it, from the inside so much. It's intentional and nice, and it is consistent with everything else that you have inside and out, as far as the design aesthetic. Because whether we put something that's not as nice and covered with landscaping, or with a mural, it's still trying to conceal what's there. And this is not fighting it, but again, it would be a custom built building, which I hadn't accounted for before. So when I do that, of course, it's an option. I think it would be really nice. And I'm gonna go up above just to give you a perspective. So it's just taking it as close as possible to the existing roof line. I have it positioned just in enough to where you should not need a variance on this side or in the back. It is just within the maximum of the allowable space for accessory buildings, and it's 12 foot by 14, 12 feet by 14 feet for the overall dimension for the exterior walls. Of course, by the time you add the structure, the interior usable space is a bit less. Walls end up being about a foot thick. That's a nice additional space. And you'll see here I'm showing this again being a straight edge. And the idea here with the tile is you have the marble inside. So it's keeping that clean, modern, straightforward appearance. And then only in certain locations going to a more organic feel, which is up here, more fluid design. Of course, here you have all your equipment and storage. So this is showing storage and air conditioners and the generator, the water softener, and then the location where you could pull in your golf cart to the back and park it right here. It's I think how you'll normally have it when you're not using it. And this is 5'4" wide, just to give you some perspective. So plenty of room to pull in the golf cart. And again, the walkway here. What I was mentioning before is I stopped modeling the lighting just because it looks funny. I think it kind of clouds the idea, but here we could have the linear lights around, and this also comes with linear LEDs, which give a nice, clean, modern appearance. So when you're coming in through the entry, and that's kind of your experience. You're a bit taller than me, but it gives you an idea of what you could expect. I think it works really well. And of course, the caveats are that we will need variances for this. It maximizes your green space and your front yard, and hopefully achieves everything that you asked for. And I'll just zoom out. I'm going to take you around. So you have the stone wall going from that corner to this corner. So it's essentially your front, that's your front sight wall. And then the wood beyond that, where we can have the gate and access, for full equipment and such. So this gives you more of a bird's eye view of the design. I think this is much more in line with what you're asking for and looking to achieve. So I look forward to any comments, questions, feedback, and again, I hope this accomplishes everything and integrates the comments and feedback you gave before. Drop right back down to where we started, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.